When I was in college in the late 90s at UCSD, Oceanside was not somewhere that you went. You just didn't go there. You drove on through on the way from LA to San Diego, but you did not stop. It had a horrible reputation. But for the past 20 years, the city of Oceanside has been working really, really hard to change that reputation. They've replaced the strip clubs and the seedy bars with resorts and farm-to-table restaurants. They've really cleaned up their act, and Oceanside is now a thriving tourist destination. Crime has dropped drastically, and people even from down in San Diego are willing to come up here now, if they have to. Old habits do die hard, so you might still get some people steering you away from Oceanside, but that's usually because they don't know exactly how much it's changed. I was one of those people. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 different ways that Oceanside is a really great place and might just be the right place for you to call home. Hi, I'm Allesen Cann. I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful San Diego, California. I love exploring, so I'm going to take you on the ride with me as I explore different parts of San Diego and talk about whether they're a great place to live or not. We're going to start right today with Oceanside, so let's get going. Founded as a city in 1888, Oceanside is at the very north end of San Diego County. It's just below Camp Pendleton, it is just north of Carlsbad, and it is just west of Vista. Camp Pendleton opened in 1942 and had a huge impact on Oceanside, with the population more than doubling in just 5 years. While becoming a military town may have put Oceanside on the map, servicing all of its troops also led to its bad reputation. Downtown was full of strip clubs and rowdy bars, drugs became a problem, and crime was high. But all of that has now changed. Today, downtown is filled with resorts and restaurants and hotels and shops and tourists and murals and museums and all kinds of stuff. But why would you want to move here? Well, let's get into that. So the number one reason, of course, is the weather. It's hard to beat the weather here. We have San Diego weather, which means it rarely gets below 40, and it also doesn't go above 85 very often, unless you're inland. Inland, they get hot out there. But if you're by the coast, it's usually pretty nice. It's winter right now, and it's actually like in the mid 60s, and in the sun it is absolutely lovely. It just means that most days you get to get outside and enjoy everything that Oceanside has to offer. Reason number 2, it's kind of the last affordable beach town in San Diego, and maybe even in California. I'm meeting a lot of people who are moving from Pacific Beach to Oceanside because the median price in Pacific Beach is $1.4 million. It's only $850,000 in Oceanside, so you get a lot more bang for your buck up here. There are also homes of all styles in Oceanside. From Fire Mountain, you're going to find a lot more ranch styles, older, built in the 60s and 70s. If you go to other areas like Maricosta, you're going to be finding more of the newer Mediterranean style homes. And if you want something like ultra modern, you can go downtown. Those are being built right now. We also have 55 and over communities in Oceanside, which makes it a perfect place to retire if you just want to retire and live that beach lifestyle. And if you go even further inland to Morro Hills, you actually find like farmland, like little farms, not big farms, but you find little farms all over the place. And that leads us to the number 3 reason to move to Oceanside. Those farms are often supplying the farm-to-table restaurants that have become a staple of Oceanside. In fact, Oceanside has become quite the foodie destination. Restaurants in Oceanside are consistently on the Eater top places to eat lists, and we actually have 2 restaurants from Oceanside in the Michelin Guide, Dijamara and Valle. When you're not eating up a storm, there is so much to do in Oceanside. You can go to the pier and go fishing or go whale watching. There are skate parks and golf courses and bike trails and hiking trails. And if you want some culture, there are museums downtown and theater, and the list just goes on and on. There's so much to do here. 2 favorites of people in Oceanside are the Junior Seau amphitheater that has concerts and other events year-round, and there's also on Thursday a farmers market in the morning and a sunset market in the evening. And speaking of farmers, that leads us to our fifth reason that Oceanside is a great place to live, and that is the economic development that the city has put in place. They are very focused on making Oceanside a great spot for business to come. They've done things like building the Sprinter, which gets you from Oceanside to Escondido. There's also, of course, the Coaster, which gets you from up into LA and down into San Diego. And they have a grand plan for the future, which includes something called agro-tourism, which includes turning those little farms into tourist destinations. Of course, right now, their biggest employers include biotech, which is like Gilead and Genentech, and there's also Hobie Cat and a couple of other large employers here in Oceanside. But the city is very focused on the economic development and making Oceanside a great place to not only live, but also work. So what do you think? Does Oceanside sound like it might be a good fit for you? What sounds good? Are there other things that you're still wondering about? If you have questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. My number's below. It's also on the screen. And comment below and let me know what you thought. Was there anything that stood out? Were there any surprises for you? I'm going to be covering different parts of San Diego like this going forward. If you have any requests for certain areas that you'd like me to cover, let me know. But if this was at all helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell so you get notified when I put out new content.